Hi, my name is Oleksiy Goncharenko. I'm a member of the Parliament of Ukraine, and I organized this channel, YouTube channel, to inform English-speaking people from all over the world about what is happening in our country. I think it's extremely important first of all, for those who are connected with Ukraine, for those whose work is connected with Ukraine, journalists, analytics, politics, and so on and so on. But also for everybody, because Ukraine today is on the front line of struggle between civilized world and Putin's regime, which is the biggest threat to the security of the whole world. Today we are starting, and first of all, my congratulations and Merry Christmas to everybody who were celebrating Christmas recently. And let's start. The most important thing for the moment in Ukraine is the gas issue. The question of transit of Russian gas through our territory, through Ukrainian gas transport system to Europe. As you know, for many decades, from the times of Soviet Union, Russian gas was transported to Europe through Ukrainian territory. And during Soviet time, the pipelines, the gas transport system was built, and it is one of the biggest in the world. It can transit near 200 billion cubic meters of gas per year. One more time, 200 billion cubic meters. For the moment, the volume of transit of Russian gas, of Gazprom gas from Russian Federation is 90 billion cubic meters per year. So this year it will be 90 millions. And recently, during last years, Gazprom is doing everything to build the new pipelines which will not go on the territory of Ukraine. It's Nord Stream 1, then Turkish Stream, then Nord Stream 2, which is now on the way. That's a threat. That's a threat for Ukraine, certainly, because we lose money, we lose this transit potentially. But also it's a real challenge and threat for Europe, because in this situation, Gazprom wants to become the monopoly on the gas market of Europe and to control all the line from Russian Federation till the customers in Germany, Poland, or any other European country. So that's why the United States of America, they put sanctions recently. It was just several days ago, President Trump signed the law, the defense budget of the United States, where the sanctions against the companies which construct the Nord Stream 2 pipeline on the bottom of the sea, of the North Sea, they implemented sanctions against these companies. And there are only 4 companies in the world which can build such marine pipelines, and one of them, Oleksiy from Switzerland, they are working for Gazprom now. And after this law about sanctions was adopted by the United States, this company announced that they stopped their work on the pipeline before they will understand the juridical situation. It means that Russian Federation now has problems with the finishing of the building of this pipeline, and probably it will not be finished in the first half of next year like it was planned by them, but maybe a year later. So we can't say for the moment for sure, but certainly it is a problem for Gazprom and for Putin. That's why now that Ukraine is in the negotiations on the transit contract with the Russian Federation. The previous transit contract was signed in 2009 by Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko and Prime Minister at that time of Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Yes, he's like a Highlander. He was from the 2000, he's the chief in Russian Federation from 2000, so almost 20 years. And this contract was signed for 10 years. So it is finishing now in these days. A new contract is discussed by Russian Federation and Ukraine. And for the moment, we have the next information that Russian Federation, they will pay $2.9 billion of fine, which was put on them by Stockholm arbitrage recently because of the contract which was signed not according to commercial things and not on commercial ground, but just it was a pressure from Russian Federation. It was confirmed by the arbitrage, and the fine is put on Gazprom. And already the property of Gazprom in other countries than Russia, the arrests started for this property to pay this debt to Ukraine. So Gazprom agrees for the moment that they will pay $2.9 million to Ukraine of this fine. But they request that Ukraine will stop other arbitrages against Gazprom and will not go to the courts further. That is their demand and that is the compromise. The second very important thing is the number of transit, the volume of transit. As I told you, today, this year, Ukraine transported 90 billion cubic meters of gas. And for next year, Gazprom proposes 65, so it's 30% less. And from 2021, they agree only for 40 billions of cubic meters of gas. So as you see, the volume of transit is dropping radically, and that's a big problem for Ukraine. Unfortunately, the position of Ukrainian authorities is not strong enough and firm enough. We have all the advantages in our hands. We have a decision of arbitrage. Gazprom cannot transit their gas to Europe without our system for the moment. They need it. But unfortunately, our government, they are ready to agree for this proposition. So 2020, 65 billion cubic meters, and next 4 years, 40 billion cubic meters. I think that this situation is very important. It means that Russian Federation, they want to kill the Ukrainian gas transport system. Certainly it is not in the interest of Ukraine. It will be a big problem for us. We will lose money. 20,000 people who are working in this company, which is transiting gas, they will lose their job. But not only for Ukraine. This will be the problem for the whole world, because that will mean that the energy security of Europe is absolutely in hands of Putin. And Putin is using energy like a weapon. And even in the official documents of Russian Federation, it is written that energy for them is their weapon, and they will use it to receive strategic advantages against their enemies. And their enemies are the countries of NATO, first of all United States, but their allies in Europe too. And it is absolutely clear that they will use it in future. So I am finishing. We will see what will be the result of these negotiations. But for the moment, I can tell you that I think that public in Europe should know much more about what is happening around gas and transit of Russian gas to Ukraine, because it is the question of energy security of Europe. So thank you very much. Please follow my YouTube channel. I will inform you about the most recent and important events, including the hidden things that are not seen publicly by the authorities, but which we know, and me as a member of the parliament for them. It's my second term in the parliament. I will tell you about these things. So put likes, follow my channel, and I will keep you informed. Thank you very much. Goodbye and Merry Christmas one more time.